who feel entitled to innocent people. Like, now, what is her occupation? She's that most of y'all's dreams. To get a man rich enough that when he dies, you don't have to work. And using her son to do it. See, if she was a man, you'd tell her to do it herself. She just needs to man up. But because she's a woman, not only do you tell her which services to go to and tell her the right ones, but you help her to do those things. You also know that she'll get sympathy when she chooses to be predatory. That she can play victim like she's done nothing wrong. Damn right I expose my predators. No other way to do it. This woman chose to be malicious and cruel and mean. So I'm making a video about what a horrible excuse for a human being she has chosen to be. What a filthy monster her son's going to become. Statistically, her son is 70% more likely to go to prison than a child with a father in his life. So this lady is widowed. That means her husband is dead. Based on the type of person that she chooses to be, he's lucky. He's lucky that she's no longer able to do those things to him. She's a stay-at-home mom with too much free time on her hands, teaching her son to be a simp. Or, of course, creating so much animosity in the boy that when he's an adult, he's going to hurt a lot of people. This woman is exactly the kind of predator. Exactly the kind of predator that I've been speaking out about how you make an innocent person a target. And then you harm them until they have a mental breakdown from being harmed, just like Claire did. Oh. Now let's play some recordings from Claire. We'll make sure that we play these recordings. This is another victim of the same issues. Well, except that she's not being stalked by a bunch of people. Because she wasn't all over the media the way that I was. Painted as some sort of a horrible monster. We'll go to the text message on this. We'll go to Claire Jordan, and we'll play this for her. By the way, the thing is, she complains that people did to her. She did those things to me, and I'm still trying to help her. Why? Because I was taught the same as you. We protect women and children. That's our job. That's our duty.
So I'm in my car. Hang on a second. I'm in one of the canyons, so I just have to get all the way back up to Estes where I work. Anyway, yeah, I absolutely understand those situations, and I'd love to testify about it, because I had so many situations where basically, like, it's like the Stanford prison experiment on a massive scale out there. It's fucking disgusting. People drive people to madness over, like, power and control. Like, they really get a kick out of controlling the homeless population out there, but then they don't actually want to do anything about it, and so they just push people until they break. And then when they break, they're like, oh, see, this is why you can't function in society. It's like, oh, okay, so you're going to torture me for 4 months, use all my resources, send me in endless loops to go check out other resources, other places until I have less than I started with. Take away every basic necessity of living and comfort, Maslow's hierarchy of basic needs, man. Like, no shelter, no food. People are going to lose their shit. And you start treating people like them and threatening them, of course they're going to fight back. That's not a mental health problem. That's torture.
Yep.
My problem was that the state that my ex left me in, and his,
Oregon.
Landlord or whatever, I couldn't quite form proper sentences, and I kept having heat stroke, so I'm really not even sure if the words that I thought I was saying were the words coming out of my mouth. And I can't tell because no one cared to pay attention enough. So I could have, I thought I was saying stuff like, I need an ice pack before I have a seizure, I need water, I'm having heat stroke, and I need help. And I would say that over and over and over, and they'd be like, ma'am, you need to calm down or I'm calling the cops. And then they would stare at me with like a weirdly smug smile, like, what are you even saying? And it's really disturbing because some of these emergency workers and mandatory reporters are supposed to be trained to see something like that. This basic
we're at
shit.
Risk for victimization,
how to recognize
so they
stroke,
for.
or, somebody having a health crisis, not a mental crisis, or, somebody starts
You're being abused
speaking gibberish and have their face moving. Maybe you should get them to the fucking ER instead of laughing at them and being like, well, if you don't want my help, I'm out of here, which is what happened to me in Vancouver, Washington, in a fucking parking ride.
I deal with the same stuff in Washington, many other states too. She's been through it. The fact that she treated me the same way that she complains about these other people is horrible. I gave her time to speak. And I listened to her story, and I speak out for her. I help to lend her a voice. Because despite the fact that she has been inhumane to me, she is still a human to me.
I absolutely know that I have brain damage from multiple rounds of heat stroke because people were denying even so much as water to people that looked homeless. And that's insane. There's states where that's illegal to deny somebody a glass of water. And so
I'm going to pause that. What happened to me in Virginia? I had a mental breakdown over a medical emergency as well as cruelty by Alicia Bollinger. Over a situation that I could not get myself out of without help. I needed help. This whole you need to man up. No, I was victimized. Victimized for things that were not my choice, and nobody would hear my voice. They heard only what they wanted to hear. And when they promised me that they weren't going to do something, the first thing they did is exactly that thing. Water. Essentials like food, water, and shelter. But the thing is, none of those things get us a voice. Why are we being deprived of these things? And why is it that people think that just those things, if they provide just one of those things, that magically we should be able to do a bunch of stuff that's expensive? We don't have enough money for food, so you give us a burger and you think that magically we should be unhomeless now. That's fucking stupid.
It just kind of blew my fucking mind that people were just like torturing the homeless population to the point where they break, and then just modifying their own memory, I guess. Like, oh, they were always like that. See, that's why we don't help you.
Modifying their memory. Like when you're trying to say what help you need, and you state it clearly, but they interrupt you in the middle of it to tell you what I'm hearing you say, or they say, oh, well, what you think. No, this is a fact. There is evidence. I'm trying to show you evidence, and you are dismissing it and blowing me off You tell me you believe me, but then you, oh well, your truth. Okay, Sean, your truth. No, 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 no. It is the truth, the absolute truth. If Natalie Bollinger told me something, it's not what I think she said. Yes, women go through it too, but it's primarily poor people.
So it's like, yeah, but you know, you can go 4 fucking months holding your shit together and functioning like a normal person, politely trying to seek out resources for, you know, not to be homeless and, you know, living in a hotel or whatever, and then if you're acting well put together, then they act like you must just be lazy or trying to con them, and so they don't want to help you because you're not in crisis enough. And then when you finally hit crisis enough, they call the police because now you're just acting crazy, or, you know, like here in Colorado, I
Gaslighting.
was told that I was going to get some help. I got all the paperwork they asked for. I showed up. I made, you know, promises at the hotel that I was staying at that they were going to get a payment from this local resource. And I show up like an hour before I'm supposed to have this all done, you know, with one last piece of paper that they asked for, and suddenly they had changed their mind and decided that they had things that they thought were a better idea for my family, except for they didn't.
They're not following the laws. They're bullying us into doing things that are against our best interests.
And worse, and would make things worse for me and my children, and that it was mind-blowing. And so then I spent 45 minutes talking to this director about it and hammering out the details, and then finally coming back around again to the point where it was like, oh yeah, just a hotel voucher would actually be the best thing. And this lady jumps in, she's like, okay, well, I still think that my idea is better, and that's what we're going to go with. And I had a freaking autistic meltdown about it because, like,
they're abusing us, denying us access to those resources.
Instead of a hotel voucher to bridge a little bit of a gap for me, was to put the kids in foster care, go into a safe house, quit my job, so that I could go into this specific shelter. And I was just like, well, why would I do that for 2 weeks?
They're literally telling her to do things that are going to prevent her from getting her kids back.
Are you insane? So,
the state of Colorado is literally trying to steal her kids the same way that they did here. The same way they did to many other people in Colorado. Blonde hair and blue eyes, under the age of 6. Female is what they want the most. Blonde-haired, blue-eyed girls under the age of 6. It's disgusting.
Anyway, I had a narcissistic meltdown about it, which is what I did in Tillamook, you know, after trying to tell my story, like, in 45-minute chunks, and then having, you know, realized after 45 minutes of talking to somebody that they haven't been listening to a damn thing that I'm saying, you know, and having that multiple times in a row, and blowing away a whole day or 3 to do it, like, you know, that it's hard to even function, it's hard to track. Like, I get so worked up about it, just thinking about it, that I lose where I'm at talking about things. But then in the office up here in Colorado, like, I was like, God, you're making me suicidal. I just want to drive off a cliff. You're not paying attention. And they're like, oh, you said the S word. And they called the cops, and I swear to God,
they
like,
bully you to that point.
And to, like, talk about...
No better than you. You don't know what's going on in your life. You're an idiot.
4 hours of my day trying to explain something to somebody, only to have them pull the rug out from underneath me and basically prove that they weren't listening in the fucking first place, because what they responded with had nothing to do with anything that I said.
The thing is, Claire is doing the same thing to me that people did to her, that she complained about how hurtful it is. I still care about Claire. I care about her kids, and I care about what she's going through. I also know the state of Colorado is evil. Evil to parents who are broke. Especially if they've got a child who has blonde hair and blue-eyed under the age of 6. The younger the better, and especially if it's a female. The state of Colorado. That's right, the state of Colorado doing these things. And then we have to deal with predators. She doesn't have to deal with the predators that I do. She has no idea, no clue. That's why it was so important for her to listen instead of, well, treating me the way that people treated her. I'll be mean back. I don't mind. The thing is, she needs help. What are you going to do? Watch my channel for entertainment and then go back to being a stay-at-home mom? Getting on the internet and getting all psychobabbled up, watching slander on the internet for entertainment? And then that's not entertaining enough. No, you have to reach out to the victim and friggin' harass them. You're a disgusting excuse for a human being, and I hope you go to prison. I hope your son is taken away. I'm not talking about Claire. I'm talking about Miss Smith. I hope they take her son away and put him in a good home. Give him to a good family. What are the chances of that happening? Not very good. But what are the chances of that boy being raised better in the system than by his own mother? Pretty good. She's already shown that she has no soul. She's an evil person. Miss Smith is a horrible excuse for a human being, and the epitome of why this country is such a horrible place to live, not just for men, but also for women. When we allow female predators to get away with this over and over and over again for entertainment, I'm not letting her get away with it. I'm speaking up, you disgusting animals.